Peace be with you, and welcome to Volume 3 of the Dismantled Associations, Organizations, Situations, Entities, Above the Law Energies, okay? Trying to silence the Hierophant. So I'm really glad that I took a break in between those first two volumes by way of the readings because I needed to come back in a way that I feel is going to give us new energy now. So it's almost like we tapped in and now we're going to tap out of that. We don't need their dense energy. But what I did here was the reason why some of these groups have been divided, not that this is our business, but you being a spokesperson, a representative by way of a mandated reporter for the universe, a mandated how you say chosen one for the divine, right? You have a certain level of integrity that you must carry. So this does kind of make this our business in the sense that now the people who are leaving these groups want to side with the divine collective. They too want to go through that Christ consciousness awakening after maybe going from the dark into the real light by way of enlightenment. Why do I say that? Because some of these people, depending on their ranking, depending on their initiation, were being controlled by other people within their own organization. Some of them were unaware, y'all. Some of them are going through the dark night of the soul. Some of them had entity attachments. Some of them were silenced, okay, when they did realize the truth. And I just heard nobody's going to believe you. So they could have deemed a lot of these people who woke up in their groups to be crazy, right? These are people who initiated in a way that maybe they felt either they had to by way of family ties, blood ties, or these are people that did not know that they were initiated and somehow they were being used as some type of common denominator between the physical and the spiritual realm. A lot of these people who are leaving these corrupted organizations are starting their own groups, taking the knowledge that they gained and or learned, and they're wanting to apply it to divine consciousness. So that's the good part, because a lot of them are now realizing like, damn, okay, well, I was being controlled by that practitioner that I was going to, or the one that was in our group, or the one that was a part of our coven. Yeah, there is no loyalty amongst thieves, right? I just heard there's only a handful of them that keep an oath, that take an oath, right? Okay, so you got your whistleblowers. These are people that weren't able to say anything, okay, at one point in given time. Maybe they were silenced. Maybe their finances and their resources were shut down, okay, to keep them in this exiled energy, like you're not a part of the group anymore. Well, now some of these people are looking at the Hierophant, the real Hierophant, because they want to be plugged into source. Yeah, a lot of these groups, it's like some things are mandatory in these groups, like you gotta do it. It's because the truth is here. So they tried to silence the Queen of Swords energy. Aquarius, Libra, Gemini, these are the people speaking the truth seekers, the truth speakers amongst the spiritual community. That's what I just heard. Oh yeah, you got the Wheel of Fortune in the reverse. So a lot of these people, their destinies were stolen and they didn't even know it. They just thought, I'm a part of this coven. Yeah, there's always a trickle down effect. You know, there's always the master, and then somebody within the group wants to be the master of slaves, but everybody believes that they're sitting at a table with people that are comrades, you know, cohorts. I just heard coercion, okay? Coaxing, spiritually coaxing them, hoaxing them, hocus pocus energy, controlling people with forces, spirits. The demons are snitching these people out. So there was no loyalty amongst some of these groups, y'all. There was only a handful of people who took an oath. They're kind of like a subsidiary of this organization. That's what I just heard, okay? So they're watching the Ace of Cups. Yeah, a lot of these people are walking away. Remember, in the previous reading, if you've not seen Volume 2, I recommend that you look at that one before you look at this one. Or maybe this one will be a better fit for you. Maybe this is where you want to start. That's the beautiful part about life. We all have choices, so choose wisely. But in the previous reading, right, the Eight of Cups was there and the Five of Pentacles. Because people were losing faith in the organization, or they were losing faith in what they thought the group was really about. They were losing faith in what their intentions were versus somebody else's intentions for their life, which it appears to be. There's a lot of destiny controlling here. It's like eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. Is that how they say it? Is it tooth for a tooth? Eye for an eye, okay, makes everybody blind. Some of these people were blinded to what was going on in these groups. Yeah, the Ace of Cups. I can't make this up, okay? So yeah, they want to come towards the Ace of Cups. Some of these people have been silenced. Some of them have been exiled. Some of them left the group. Some of them were kicked out of the group. Some of them were cut off, like I said, from connections and resources. Wheel of Fortune, some of these people were just sacrifices. They were never truly initiated. There's only a handful of real connections by way of a solid oath. I just heard brotherhood, sisterhood, and Spirit is saying this is all over the world. Okay, that's what's up. So now these people need help. Yeah, look, the emperors. You got divine masculine energy, 4 of Pentacles. Some of these people were silenced. Some of them were being kept quiet. That's what I just heard. Now they're watching the divine collective. All praises be to the Most High God. At least it's creating some type of a conversation, you know, about Christ consciousness and what it really is about. Because I just heard all the secrets have been exposed. There's really nothing else to hide. We're 10 steps ahead, 1,000 steps ahead of whatever somebody might think to do. It's like seeing what somebody's decision is before they make it. And as the collective, you're sitting here with an overflow of divine infinite knowledge. And what's in your cup is between you and source. What overflows is what you decide to pour out into other cups by way of emotions. But your cup has to be full. So holding on to that which is sacred, being a mandated secret keeper, you and the divine. Yeah, these ancient secrets are not easily tapped into. And if you're tapping into them, congratulations. That means that you've done something metaphysically, quantum physically, by way of the laws of physics, with your internal spirit man. So much so that you're opening up doors that people never knew we were able to open. That takes a lot. That's the kind of knowledge that can't be taken from you. Not by way of somebody trying to dominate you. So a lot of these people want their destinies back. That's what I just heard. I just heard that was a part of the deal. That was a part of the deal. It's like do or die, okay? So it's almost like a lot of these people were in these groups, these Masonic groups, okay? Maybe because their mother's mother was an Eastern Star, and their father's father was a Mason, right? But what we see here is like blood is thicker than water, but really not really, but mud is thicker than blood and water. Wheel of Fortune in the reverse. Some of these people had their destinies snatched. That was the only purpose. They were never truly initiated. With the Wheel of Fortune in the reverse, with the 3 of Cups, is do or die. So that was a part of the deal. It's like you either do this or die. You either do this or you lose resources. You either do this or we're going to cut you off. It's giving exile. It's giving blacklisted. It's giving black sheep of a family. So some people had no choice. Innocent casualties. If you do this or that, here is what is going to happen. We're going to snatch whatever your gains are. I feel like the Wheel of Fortune is like money, you know, stability, status, fame, fortune. We're going to take that away. 3 of Cups in the reverse. We will make you look crazy and nobody will be celebrating you. You'll be that one person that nobody listens to because they're just going to be like, oh, she's crazy. Oh, he's crazy. This is a part of the deal. That's what I just heard. Okay, being a part of this organization, a broken organization, now a fragmented one. It's crazy. This is a part of the deal. Okay, I just heard one way in, no way out. Damn. It's like keeping somebody's soul and their destiny ransom, holding it ransom, right? But you can't buy it back. Just when you think you're getting the money to buy it back, they're like, no, you can't have your destiny back. Oh, and while we're at it, we're going to try to take your soul too. Okay. That's a part of the deal. Like, that's what I feel like this diabolical sector or section or limited group of people who really had the power within these organizations very narcissistically are saying that was a part of the deal. That's their defense in spiritual court. So when the ancestors are like, well, wait a minute, why'd you do that? Your child didn't want to be initiated. They're like, oh, well, the hangman, they were the sacrifice. It was kind of the deal. It was the only reason that they were born. It's the only reason that we co-created and allowed them life. It's because eventually we're going to use them for a sacrifice. Okay. Calmly, disconnected, not disheveled, not, associated with the emotions of a soul, somebody that wants to return back to source, or the manipulation of somebody's destiny and resources. There is no association. These are very disassociated people. They're the get it done kind of guys. They're the get it done kind of gals. Just get rid of him, get rid of her. Okay, we'll put it in the media. She's crazy. He's crazy. Everybody will read the headlines. It'll come up on everybody's timeline. And they're like, oh my God, he's crazy. Yeah, okay. Right? This is that kind of energy. This is what they're saying. So now they're coming out of some type of hiding. Yeah, the Ten of Wands, you got a lot of them in the cut. Ten of Wands that were casted out. Some of them could have been under the radar for 10 years. Whoa. Suffering in silence, exiled. It's like being cut out of the inheritance, but ransoming somebody's soul and destiny. Like, you got to buy it back or you can never buy it back. We're going to make your life a living hell. These people love to exploit. Exploiting power. Ooh, catching towers. Yeah, I can't make this up. You got the Six of Cups and strength and the Ten of Cups. Some of these people are happy that they get to come out of this silent era. Strength in the Six of Cups, the past. Something about the past. Yeah, the Ten of Cups. The moment you don't agree with something, that's it. You're expendable very, very easily. This is how they think. This is what they're saying. The moon. Tell us more about the moon. Holy spirits, tell us more about the moons. What happened? What happened under that moon? The Queen of Wands, confidence, fire magic. Okay, somebody could have done fire magic to try to create some form of an illusion of an imbalance. This was to tip the scales in their favor and it failed. Okay, it's a trickle down effect. So whoever this exclusive group of, masters are, they're now feeling the heat because what's underneath them is falling. So it's only a matter of time that what was up is now down. That's spiritual law, as above, so below, right? Somebody was sitting high above an organization, only a selected few, and what trickled down to the people underneath them by way of rank, it's faulty, it's shaking. It's like, the foundation is not there. There's nobody up under them that they can use as innocent casualties to uphold some type of weird agreement by way of an oath, by way of a narrative of what they represent, which should be justice and equality. Their forefathers are pissed off. I just heard even their forefathers knew not to do no stupid shit like this. Whatever they've done, somebody's got shit all over themselves. Somebody's got shit all over their face. Somebody's really sitting up right now looking with the gas face in real life, and they're trying to figure out how did we not know? Prophecy is right here. Some people had gotten to the point where they had rendered so much misfortune that they really convinced themselves that the divine would not ever reign in the earth, right? That source wasn't real. That's what I just heard. They projected that out so much to the masses, giving people hopeless energy, that I feel like they accidentally started to believe that the divine wasn't real. Oh, the divine is real. They know it. There will be no more spilling of innocent blood when it comes to the chosen. Not at all. Okay? Justice in the reverse. Okay? Yeah, look, I can't make it up. This wanted to come up in the reverse. I feel like there's duality. I feel like the Three of Wands in the upright, is about foresight. I feel like that has everything to do with what is to come. Okay, something could be significant about the next few months, 3 to 6 months, something like that. The manifestation, the magic, okay? You got a lot of people who left these organizations. Remember, the Eight of Cups was in the upright and the Five of Pentacles. Hey, I'm getting up out of this. I'm not afraid to leave anymore. I don't give a damn if you take all the money. This is what's going on behind the scenes that they're not saying, and they're scrambling. And then there's the Epstein files, right? Shout out to the Epstein files. Oh my God. The divine, the great I am, the Alpha and the Omega, and everything in between, the black, the white, the good, the bad, the indifferent, source of all sources, the main source, the force plugged into eternal sovereignty by way of eternal being activity, is above the galactic confederation kind of God. The Most High God is presiding. Crookedness. I was reading the other day. This just reminded me. You got the Magician. Hold up. You got the Page of Swords. You got people watching. The Queen of Swords. The truth speakers. The truth seekers. The people getting to the root of it all. The meat of it all. The middle, the top, the bottom of it all. I had wrote this down. Hold on. I was studying last night. And there was a scripture that was very, very interesting about the corrupted justice system. And I do believe it was in Leviticus. Okay. I love the Bible. It's 80% true, 20%, figurative, also known as false, but figurative, meaning you got to read in between the lines. Maybe you got to read that thing backwards. You ever read the sentences backwards? Okay. Sometimes it makes better sense. It was either Ecclesiastics or Leviticus. I'm going to have to find that scripture when my other phone charges, y'all. So Leviticus 11:32, do not bring shame upon my name, for I will display my holiness among the people of Israel. I am the Lord your God who makes you holy. That was the one that I wrote down as well. However, I'll find it later. I'm going to have to find it because I need to bring it. But the scripture was basically talking about corrupted court systems, judgment, harsh judgment, and how our God was laughing as these people were corrupting themselves with making bad decisions in the earth towards people who were innocent. The moment you feel like you're getting up the emotional, spiritual, financial totem pole, then, the line changes or something's being set to a higher bracket. It's like just when you get used to, paying a certain amount of tax on some milk, it goes up, by $10. It's giving that kind of energy. So corrupted court systems, corrupted organizations is what I'm hearing, severely under judgment, severely. They're really scared of the chosen ones because the chosen ones are having children now that are coming out of the womb, like doing absolutely amazing things. I saw a 7-year-old solve a very difficult, what is it called? A Rubik's Cube in less than 12, I think it was 12 seconds. He went to 19 seconds on one that was supposed to be a level of difficulty higher than the one that he had just solved. 7 years old, and he was literally unscrabbling the Rubik's Cube, for those of you that are familiar with that toy, in 12, 19 seconds. I said, what's the brain activity on this here? This is somebody's 7-year-old baby? Oh, they're terrified. The gods are here. The real ones. Yeah. I saw a 5-year-old who had hands like Clarissa Shields. Literally. I'm like, yo, this is the gods are here. They're all colors, shapes, and sizes. So we're just really here to assure that the debris is out of the way for these children. Shout out to the imams, the imams, the ones that help pregnant women, the doulas. Yeah. Okay. Every pregnant woman needs a feminine partner, somebody that is going to share in her body with her to help her bring a God into this world. We'll talk more about that on the other platform, Divine High Priestess Activated. Join me over there. But anyway, getting back to this reading, Queen of Swords, the Magician, the Page of Swords, and the Eight of Wands. It's our communication. Collectively, we are seeing divinity together. Nothing can stop it. It's unwavering. And you got a lot of organizations being tossed to and fro because they are wavering. Somebody needs a waiver. Somebody wants a waiver. Somebody needs a favor. Somebody needs some help, y'all. Yeah, I can't make it up. They're wavering. They're being tossed to and fro. It's a mess behind the scenes. They got a lot going on. They got Epstein and Caroline and gasoline and plastoline. A guy just created some type of fuel out of plastic, cheaper than gasoline. They got problems. The gods are here. I can't make it up. I'm telling the truth. Okay, they got problems. The stocks and the bonds, okay, are reaching beyond all this shit that they tried to create for the masses. Clarify they need help. What's help? What can we help you with? The King of Swords. What can we help you with? The King of Swords. Speaking the truth. The Knight of Wands. Two of Pentacles. Oh, yeah, they're messed up. Four of Wands. The whole organization. So the people that are the selected few, these groups, they need help. I just heard this is as far up the ranks as you can go. So these are the big boys. These are the big boys and the big gals. These are the masters. They need help from the spiritual community. Four Wands, that's an organization. King of Swords, these are the guys. King of Swords is like the best at what he does. He gets it done. Some of them look really, really young. Okay, Knight of Wands, they're older, but they look good for their age. They need us to balance this out. The Two of Pentacles, and now that the people that they've exiled are now coming in as assets for the collective, it could be a very binding and trapping situation. You got the Eight of Swords. The Eight of Swords represents a self-imposed imprisonment. It could also represent spiritual jail, spiritual hell. These are the ones at the top. What an honor. It's so nice. Spirit just said, started from the top. Now they're here. Well, thank you for dropping it down a notch. Thank you for coming in to drop it down a notch by way of your ranking. We know that your 48 laws of power could be feeling, very alien-like to you now. There's more than 48 laws of power, silly. You stay with the 48 laws of power. Now you're getting a tower. What goes up must come down. Welcome to ground level. Welcome to, the 3D. Yeah, these are people that were sitting above making decisions. My nose is itching. Roundabout now, there could be a clown coming into the comments. That's what Spirit just said. Show me the clown that's coming into the comments that want to apologize, but they're going to laugh instead. Page of Cups. It's okay. We forgive you. We hope you get delivered from those demons that they tried to bind to your soul when you joined that group and you did that blood sacrifice. Some of these people that they just got rid of, they didn't even make it to the blood sacrifices. This shit is in levels. It's in stages. You can't just go up the ranks. That's what they're showing me. Yeah, so the big boys need our help. They got spiritual problems. King of Swords and the Eight of Swords, they got spiritual problems. These are the ones, y'all. They're they were known as some of the most powerful people on the planet. All over the world. Race and gender absolutely has nothing to do with this particular group. Racism is a low vibrational energy. It's something they toss out into the masses to just create chaos. Let people fight each other. These people are not racist. There's all colors. There's some top leaders here that now need our help. Yeah. Started from the top. Now they're here. Ace of Cups. They're trying to get back to the divine. Eight of Swords, but they're bound to something because they're responsible for the people that were under them. That's where their soul contracts are. And this is a big organization. Uh-oh. Well, what are we tapping into? Let's get into it. Yeah, the Five of Pentacles. You know, we used to say, or we still say sometimes from time to time, the transfer of the wealth, of the wealthy, okay, or transfer of power and wealth. There really is no transfer like people thought. Oh, it's going to be wealth. Oh, you're going to send us all out a stimulus check. Maybe we'll all get $10,000. No, this is bigger than that. Transfer of wealth is the transfer of knowledge. Run back all that stolen knowledge. Matter of fact, keep it. We already know what you know. But we know something more than what you know that's outside of the realms of possibility of this circle and your symbols. Huh? What? There's more than 360 degrees? Well, it kind of depends on how you want to break down things. But you got light beings here, chosen ones here that are defying the laws of physics. Spirit just says, say less. Somebody's taking notes. Somebody's out here taking notes. The Three of Pentacles in the reverse. Some of these top people are on the fence as to whether or not they want to break free of certain bloodline agreements. Like, there are certain bloodlines here. At this, what was up is now having to come down. There's silence. You could hear a rat licking cotton. There's silence amongst these people. Because now they gotta let people go. I cannot make this up. The Tower. There's silence. Gasping for air. Physically, yes. Spiritually, gasping for air is gasping for source. Gasping for spirit. Holding your breath because you don't know if you're going to get to take the next one. It's that kind of silence. Let me hold my breath because I don't know if the next one is going to be my last. Like, it's giving that kind of energy. You don't know if the next breath is going to be your last breath. Oh, whoa. These people need some help. But remember, they've already talked to everybody that's powerful around the world, and they can't seem to come after these divine beings. They can't even track the children. The Ten of Swords. There's too much blood. Too much blood. Too many sacrifices. Too many lives. Too many spirits that have been unalived, destroyed at the hands of these people. The Ten of Swords, ultimate betrayal. Some of them had to take orders from people that were higher up the ranks to take out family members, people that they did not want to take out, but they did it so that they could continue to stay in power as this Empress energy. It's almost like saying, you know, coming to somebody saying, hey, you know, we got a spot at our table by way of ranking. This will put you at the 33rd degree, right? Or just by example, it's giving something like that. It's like an invitation, but you got to do this. You got to take out your daughter. Whew. You got to sacrifice your mother. You got to take out your wife. You got to take out your husband. Yeah, if you want this. But listen, it'll be fine. You know, we know how to trap the spirit. We'll just have the spirit come back, and then, you know, your mother will be your daughter. This is the type of weird science they're doing. Defying God, playing God in a way that they're not good gods. They're abusive gods. Okay? These are people that once had power just like everybody else, but they decided to use it in a way that was going to manipulate the experience here in this earthly realm and spiritually. And so now they have to pay for that. But they need our help. Help is there. They used to be able to pick up the phone and call the, connection in Cuba, see if they can go down and visit that guy, or the person that they have over in London, or maybe slide over to, the Vatican. Well, that's not working. They had people in place. Now the Ace of Cups is here. This is the divine. So basically anybody that you show up to talk to, or ask, you basically telling them to go against divine planning. Well, so anywhere that you go, any affiliation that they have by way of witchcraft, taking an oath on a book that looks like a Bible. It's a book of warlock secrets and witchcraft. Okay. They're mad because we know every word that's in that book. Order in the court. The Most High God, 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 the Most High God is presiding. The Most High God is presiding. Big shut up spell. Big shut up spell. Big, we want to shut you up. We want to shut y'all up. Y'all making us look bad. Y'all making us feel sad. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. It's given, shut them up already. Shut her up already. Shut him up already. Because if people really hone in, even if they don't know what they're listening to, they'll go based off of how they feel by way of saying, you know what, I feel like you telling me the truth. Even a blind man can see, spiritually blind man can see when somebody is speaking the truth because it's a vibration. It's an energy that you cannot kill. You cannot murder it. You can't bury it. They've already tried. It's over. So now you got people contemplating love. What is that all about? What do you mean they're operating off of a frequency of love? Narcissists and sociopaths, which really is what this group is, they don't really get feelings. They're like empathetic, love. What you mean? You love humanity? Huh? What is that about? Love is a really interesting feeling to allow yourself to believe. There is a love language. Whatever it is, we want you to shut it up already. Well, listen. Divine source of all things is not that easily accessible. You got to walk through fire, and you guys don't want to walk through fire. You were always sending somebody ahead to shield you from your karma. But now you got to face that shit head on, and it's not looking too pretty. Oh, God. Somebody's going to get upset about that one. Show us what we need to see. Job interference, okay? So job interference. Yeah, I can't make it up. Sean, this is a mess. What is going on? What's going on? Tell me what's going on. What the hell is going on here? You got obsession. You got animosity, jealousy, envy, strife, confusion, and illusions. This is the current energy of the guy who knows a guy who knows a guy who's the top guy, who's the top lady. This is their energy. Obsession, animosity, confusion, illusions. Spirit just says they're walking, breathing blasphemers. I'm just here to tell the story because the chosen ones are getting these achievements. I cannot make this up. So you have achievement, obsession, animosity, and confusion. So they're trying to figure out, what is this that you're tapping into? What is this new knowledge that we knew nothing about? What is this? What is this? Okay. They could be researching, like I said, in their books, sacred books that were stolen. They can keep it. Keep it. Our ancestors' energy is on those books. So those books are under judgment. I just heard the collective is rewriting the books, rewriting the books. So the books that they have are outdated versions of rewritten books that we've taken, extracted, eliminated, and or added to by way of amending spiritual books. That's what I keep hearing. It's almost like a record. Oh, okay. So this is Akashic record energy, like a book. Yeah, living words, okay, taking an oath, something like that. So it's like the collective is rewriting the books. How do y'all know to do that? How did you know that? What is this? How do you know? So now they're all looking at each other with suspicion because everybody in this group thinks that somebody told somebody that told somebody. There's no way that the little girl in the ghetto who's 3 years old is having a premonition about what's going to happen in the world. There's no way that a little boy who's 7 years old remembers his past lifetimes. He keeps talking about them. He keeps having dreams about how are these consciousness not under our spells anymore, because their words hold no power. Their words and what they're saying only applies to them. Even when we speak of it, we're disassociated from whatever they're speaking over the collective. We can't relate, although we observe it. We don't need to absorb it because there's nothing we can do there. The cup is overflowing with divine knowledge and connection to source. Okay. So these people got animosity because they want to achieve. I can't make this up. Complete and total destruction. This is the current energy. Now, achievement was when they recently said, okay, what we're about to do is going to be successful. This person will die. These people will die. So then, like I said, all eyes on the spiritual community. You got your underground witches. You got your witches in the woods. You got the ones that don't nobody know about. You got the ones that never come out of the house. Those are my favorite ones. They're working everybody in the neighborhood, but they never come out of the house. And when they do, they're always looking down at the ground. They're always staring off, trying to clear the energy. Oh my God. Those are the ones that never come out of the house. The underground witches. Ooh, those are the ones that do the dirtiest things. They just here to be isolated in a box with the hopes that they can contribute to the world in a very negative way. They never come out. They're isolated. They're fighting something. Yeah. Seeing things, creating things that they think are real, but nothing's really real. And they come out to the real world. They don't even know how to function. Those are the funniest witches. Those are the ones that knows what everybody's doing. When you come outside, they come outside, but you may have just, it's been a while since you've seen them, right? I used to have a witch like that in my neighborhood. I would only see her like twice a year. I'd be like, oh, hey. I was like, I never see you outside. She was like, mm-hmm. Woo, she was casting spells on everybody in the entire neighborhood. I said, what a life. That's crazy. I'm about to go to the beach. That's how I felt. I'm like, I'm getting outside. I'm going outside. You've been in the house. I've been living here for 5 years. You've been outside maybe 4 or 5 times as far as I know. And I only know because now I work at home. So I know when you home and when you not. But when I'm not working, I'm outside the box. Those are my favorite witches. Achievement. Behind the scenes, these people were hiding out, wanting to achieve their goals to the point of destruction, confusion and illusion, obsession and animosity. Let me tell you why. Because if their practitioners are failing to do witchcraft over chosen ones, that means their magic is being rejected by the spirits, by the spirit realm, by forces of nature that are no longer receiving what it is that they're putting down. We're not picking it up, but they're putting down type energy. And so now these were the go-to guys. These are the guys that get somebody unalived in 3 days, straight up. That's these guys. That's them. 3 days. They make problems go away. They're the spiritual hitman. But now that they're finding it difficult, even when they try to send them in the physical, they're finding it difficult to come for the chosen ones, which is why they just sit there in the days. Because now they're coming up against a force of nature. A divine force of nature, in nature, connected to source now. Not later. We love our ancestors. They had really interesting earthly experiences. But the whole I'm going to be with Jesus after I leave here was always figurative. Because the Christ consciousness is here. It's not coming. Running 10,000 lights with my 10,000 chariots. Yes, it's Christ was a superstar. Y'all stupid sons. No matter who you are. El Boogie, the prophetess, destruction and illusion, confusion. You stupid son. You tried to hail and nail the Christ consciousness that cannot be killed by way of manipulating the scribes, by way of confusing the Bible with your 66 books in the Bible. Where the hell is the other books? Where's the other books? It's over 100 books, bro. Never mind, just keep it. Okay, we got new books. And what y'all did with children, you're going to have to pay for that. You're going to pay out of the ass. Because when the trickle down effect happens, these people are in desperate need of some type of spiritual help. They go to the people that are usually the guy that gets it done. And now that guy has been stripped. His magic has been rejected by the force, the divine force in nature. Their ass is up the creek. This is a lot of energy. Backfiring, destruction. Remember, these high rank practitioners were getting paid hundreds and thousands of dollars. They had them on payroll. To cloak them, to shield them, to put spiritual protection, to hide their secrets so nobody knew what they were doing. Now that there's no cloaking, now that there's no veil, that's a lot of energy over time, lineages, bloodlines, generations that's backfiring. Destruction. Voodoo. Abusing voodoo. Abusing voodoo. And now we out here shaking what our mamas gave us. You can ring my bell. Ring my bell. Voodoo. Abuse of it. If you could only see things from a different perspective, collective, divine, tapped in, plugged in. If you could only see energy from a different perspective, you would see that it's all a blessing. The good, the bad, and the ugly. This reading is not about playing the victim. It's really about a lot of unfortunate, misleading ideas by way of restriction to people's lives. And now that there is no rhyme, no reason, no season for these people, destruction is the only solution. It has to be that way because that's the only place for that energy to go back to. Now that the cloaking is not working, now that their magic is not working, these are the guys that are at the top, or wherever the top was. The top is now the bottom. Started at the top, now you at the bottom. Thank you for gracing us with your presence. Now you get to go through a real human experience. You're going to feel it. All those bloodlines, the indigenous people, you're going to feel it. And it's a whole bunch of destruction. A lot. A lot. For destroying the truth. Emotional pain. It's interesting when you watch a sociopath or a narcissist finally experience emotional pain. Ain't that a blessing? That's a blessing. That's a blessing. That's really a blessing. That means you got to clean up your soul. You got to figure out where you left it. When you stopped caring for people, where it was so easy for you to unalive somebody with magic, and you just got up and went out to get an ice cream cone. Or you rolled over just to eat a sandwich knowing that you had just taken somebody out with magic. That's good that the narcissist and the sociopath now in these groups are crying, because this is a sign of the cleansing of the soul. Yeah, get to the root of it. But guess what? Welcome to the human experience that you've been able to dilute and or avert for so long. They ain't never had to feel no pain. So can you imagine the first time you feel pain? You're like, what? What is this? What is this? Obsessively trying to achieve something only to end up in animosity, confusion, illusion, your voodoo backfire, stolen secrets, and destruction, and emotional pain. Look, manipulation. Of a community. I can't make it up. Oh yeah, they did it. They did it. Whew. They tried to do a job on the spiritual community. That's all I'm gonna say. They did it. They tried to do a job. I'm not gonna even lie. That projection was a cold piece. I called on source. I went within. I sliced and diced that shit with the Ace of Swords and chopped it down. I sliced it. I pureed it. I digested it. I processed it, and I took that illusion and turned it into the Ace of Cups. And I said, "What is it that the divine wants me to do? Where is it that you want me to go?" These are real inner conversations. Say less, right? Okay, if you know, then you know. You have a real talk with yourself. It's some karmic ass feminines out here, whoever the hell they are. Don't nobody give a damn. We don't give a damn. Attacking the spiritual community. You saw community, you saw manipulation. You know, those illusions were deep. Because the goal was to put us against each other. The healers, the high priestess, injecting the spiritual community with jealousy, competition, trying to block other people, jealous of numbers, likes, comments. Like, what the hell? You don't get that up. Collectively, when we work together, good karma comes in, okay? And we did that. We weren't so easily fed illusions, because in order to fall for an illusion, you got to already really be in that energy. In order to really fall so easily for confusion and an illusion, you have to already be in that energy, or is somewhere within you, around you, attached to you. And this is why the devil feels that this is going to be easy. Obsession with an achievement. They feel like, oh, this will be easy. You don't like yourself. Oh, shit, you ain't even over your ex-husband. We're going to just project that out, do a little ultra mind control. But now that you're controlling your own mind, now they got a problem. Now they want to cry. Because all of what they sent out is coming back. And again, we're talking generations. You got sweetheart energy, karma energy. Now that the spiritual community is like, okay, bet. We're all going to take this Ace of Cups. And there's people from their organization that were casted out for whatever reason, because they realized they were the sacrifice. When they didn't want to do what somebody said to do, then yeah, that's why I always say, hey, when you get into groups and there's ranking, yeah, it's always going to be greater and the lesser of the two, but one must not seek to abuse their power. And these people really abuse their power. It's too much that has happened. You ever just seen somebody like, yeah, they're like, but God is love, God is forgiveness. Yeah, you're right. Go within about that. Okay. Good luck on that. Hopefully you find the God that you're looking for, enough that you will realize that this pain that you're feeling is just a small energetic effort by way of kindness from the universe to even allow you to feel. Somebody who has no feelings, sociopathic, narcissistic, this is just an ounce of what you sent out. And it doesn't seem as though you're equipped emotionally, mentally, and physically to handle it. So you're about to go through the dark night of the soul. You got some 70-year-olds going through the dark night of the soul, 80-year-olds. They don't know. And this is the crazy part. In these groups, they don't know, look, who's betraying who. That's the trick of the enemy. You see how the illusions backfired? They're like chosen ones. What? She will be dead by Monday. Chosen ones. And they threw some shit and it backfired so quick, so fast. So really inside and externally, you got a bunch of narcissists pointing the finger. They know there's only a handful of them that know certain things. How is it that this group of people know certain things? Now, to say that it's prophecy after you played with the scribes and gave the masses limited information and they still figured it out, you have to know that a divine force in nature, the force of all forces, you know, like when they say, may the force be with you, that force is with the collective. You have to know there's something greater and bigger going on the larger scheme of things. You have to know it. You have to know it. North Node energy, held in high honor. You have to know that. Now they're all looking at each other. How do they know what's in our books? How do they know? Like, there's only a certain amount of us all around the world that know this information. Who are these people? Well, there's prophecy. But we changed the prophecy. This is how they're going back and forth with each other. It's quite entertaining, to say the least. Remember, they projected so much of their energy out. They gave us their power. We can see the things they were seeing. We're like, damn, okay, I can hear the whole conversation. How do they know? Did you tell them? Did you tell them? So they're all side-eyeing each other. The brotherhood, you know, iron sharpens iron. Blood oath. Now, Houston, we have a problem. You know why? Because now the big boys are looking at each other angry because they feel like there's no way that we should know. And the fact that we know things that they don't know really has them in a bind, Nate. Ace of Cups. I just heard the offers are about to start pouring in. Opportunities. Just know that you got people that don't want to feel judgment, so they're praying for your blessings to come in. When they say that the enemy will be your footstool, it's like, oh, thank you. Because they're like, listen, I need to be a part of your blessings because being a part of your curses didn't work out for us that well. And now they're stuck under the illusion of what they sent out. Some of them can't even find anybody to cast out a demon. Castaway. That's what I just heard. Castaway. This is the message. I will come back later with volume 4. That will be the final message in this series of messages. I feel like the full moon is very full for a reason, but I also feel like the energy is in what I like to say a very stoic place. You know, it's very stoic. As a matter of fact, I'm going to leave these here to remind myself to do part 4. So I will see you then. Part 4 is going to be in the memberships. I will make it mid-level. If you're interested, meet me there. If not, this has been our time together. And I wish you all the best. I love you, Soul Tribe. I really do. Congratulations to the people that are professionals at navigating the terrains of murky energy, dense energy, taking that shit and flipping it and spinning it and making it your own. I love y'all. I do. I love you. I do. I really, really do. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, peace be with you.